Can you be elected if you're behind on your dues? And if you're already in office and you fall behind on your dues, can you stay in office? The answer will probably surprise you. I already did a video on whether or not you can vote when you're behind on your dues, and you can watch that video here. But this topic about serving in office is a bit more complex, so let's dive into it. First, let's be clear that Robert's Rules of Order sets no qualifications for being elected or serving in office. So what does that mean? Well, contrary to popular belief, you do not have to be a member to be nominated, elected, or to serve in office. So if you don't have to be a member to serve in office, obviously you don't have to pay membership dues to serve in office. Robert's Rules of Order provides, in most societies it is usual to elect the officers from among the members, but in all except secret societies, unless the bylaws provide otherwise, it is possible for an organization to choose its officers from outside its membership. Robert's Rules of Order then provides a common example by saying, a large society with complex financial affairs may wish to employ a professional as treasurer. So we see there's no requirement that one must be a member to be elected, but keep in mind this is according to common parliamentary law and Robert's Rules of Order. It is possible for your organization to decide if it wants to set certain criteria for serving in office, such as only members are eligible to serve in office. Many organizations have provisions like this one, and such provisions must be included in the bylaws. However, the exact wording of those provisions can be critical in answering the question of whether or not an individual can be nominated, elected, or continue to serve in a particular office. So we need to be clear on the effect of different language. Let's take a look. If your bylaws provide that you're not eligible to be nominated, you can still be elected. Because even though being nominated is the best way to be elected, being nominated is not a requirement for election. Whenever an election is held by ballot, which is most commonly the case, voters are free to write in the name of any eligible candidate who has not been nominated. Also, if you're not eligible to be nominated for a particular office, you can still serve in that office. Now, if the bylaws provide that you're not eligible to be elected to a particular office, you cannot be nominated for that office, but you can still serve in that office. On the other hand, if the bylaws provide that you're not eligible to serve in office, you cannot be nominated to the particular office, and you cannot be elected to that particular office. Now, I know this may sound like technical nonsense at first, but I assure you it's not. Let's look at a practical example. We'll use 3 different wording options and compare their practical effect. For the first example, let's say the bylaws provide that you must be current on your dues to be eligible to be nominated. Our second example will provide that you must be current on your dues to be eligible to be elected. And the final example will be that you must be current on your dues to be eligible to serve in office. Now let's say a member is current on dues, so he is eligible to be nominated. And let's say he is nominated. Under the second example, he must be current on dues to be eligible to be elected, so he is eligible, and let's say he gets elected. Now under the third example, he must be current on dues to be eligible to serve in office, and he is eligible, and he is serving in office. We see that the same effect would have prevailed for him under all of these examples. However, let's say during his term, he becomes delinquent on his dues. Under the first example, he's no longer eligible to be nominated for office, but he's already in office, so this simply doesn't affect him. Under the second example, he's now no longer eligible to be elected to office, but he's already in office and isn't looking to be elected, so this doesn't affect him. However, under the third example, the moment he became delinquent on his dues, he was no longer eligible to serve in office, so this does affect him. And under this rule, he is out of office. There are many reasons why an organization would want to use one of these examples over the others, but in choosing an option, members should be clear on the effect. As another example, imagine the bylaws provide that members of the executive board are not eligible for election to the ethics committee. Let's say you're currently serving the second year of a 4-year term on the ethics committee when you're elected to serve on the executive board. Well, this rule doesn't affect your continued service on the ethics committee, since it only makes you ineligible to be elected to the ethics committee. On the other hand, if the bylaws provide instead that members of the executive board are not eligible to serve on the ethics committee, then once you're a member of the executive board, you are off the ethics committee. So to return to the question of whether you can be elected while you're behind on your dues, the answer is yes, you can be elected without your dues being current, unless your bylaws specifically provide otherwise. So check your organization's bylaws very closely to see whether the rules contain requirements for eligibility. And it should be noted that if your bylaws say you must be a member in good standing to be elected or to serve in office, that itself doesn't prevent you from being elected or serving in office simply because you're behind on your dues. You can be in good standing and be delinquent on your dues, and I cover that in this video right here. Thanks for watching.